Well, hello again. It is time to get this booger to work. I'm tired of listening to nothing, if that makes any sense. Last time we heard very faint audio coming through the speaker. It was just barely audible. But you know, that could have come from a very strong Hispanic station we have around here, and it's really a boomer. And it could have come in through the grid cap here. This wire could have picked it up, fed it through. You never know. Any portion of this area here, and of course the rest of it would all be dead. And so we need to figure out exactly where we're losing our signal, you know, because we were hooking the antenna wire up right here to A1, and with this switch closed, this is the band switch. With this switch closed, it should have come around and gone up and into the grid. And the same thing with any position on there for the two shortwave stations. So I don't know. There should be a signal here, and all these coils are good, and they are now connected to ground. If you'll recall, I put that missing jumper in there. Something should pop here. I should get something. And this is a brand new tube I got from Bob Dobush. Well, I don't think it's brand new. He says it's a good tube. I tested it on my tube tester, and he's right. It is good. So what's going on here? Is the oscillator screwing up? I don't think so. But we're going to find out. So how are we going to do that? Well, I have this magic thing here called a signal generator. It generates a frequency. That's all. Nothing mysterious about it. Right here, it's a Heath kit that I rebuilt that needed to be rebuilt at the time. I did whatever it needed. But it does need to be painted. You guys need to remind me to paint this thing. God, look at that. The paint's just flaking off. That's because there's no primer underneath. You want a clear example of why you should prime underneath paint? There it is. There it is right there. It just comes right off. You get this light out of here a little bit, you'll be able to see it a little better. See how it's all flaking off? No primer under there at all, just metal. Never put paint on metal without a primer. That was done at the factory. So you guys need to remind me to get that done. I've been meaning to do it for, I don't know, not too long, maybe 15 years. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to put a signal in here, an IF intermediate frequency signal of 455 kilohertz. Now I don't know if that's the IF for this radio or not. I really haven't looked it up, but 455 is as good as 460 or 450. I don't care. We're just looking for a signal to go through, and this is going to give it to us. All right. So this is our little radio station. You know, there's not a guy down the road talking into it or playing music. It's just going to put out a frequency. And if you look right here, very conveniently, a lot of the old radios, the intermediate frequency was 455 kilocycles, and prior to that, it was a hit and miss situation. They were all over the board, and then they kind of realized that 455 was the way to go. So there's the little marker for 455. It's very convenient for a Heath kit to put that in there, wasn't it? So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and adjust this to where it's on that 455 mark. Right there. See? Oop, a little bit off. Right there. Okay. And I have removed the antenna from A1. And we're going to connect these two leads. We need to turn this baby on first. When you turn it on, the old red light lights up. And we're going to connect the ground to the chassis, and then here we're going to connect it to the. Now you can connect this thing anywhere. What we're doing is signal injecting. Okay, you can connect it anywhere you want along here. All right, but I'm going to start from the very beginning. Most people start from here and work back this way. I've always been the opposite. I wanted to go this way, and we're going to connect right here to A1 on the back of the radio. In this case, we're on the inside of the radio where it comes through, right there. And then it'll go up here, and it'll go up this black wire right here. It'll go up in here to the band switch and do its little thing, which is all of this. And then it'll send it on down through the tubes. Now once we get a signal injected into this thing, I'll be taking this probe here from my signal tracer. Yeah, it's a tracer. And we're going to be touching here and there and try to figure out where the signal is and where the signal is not. Now I don't have the signal tracer here, it's in the back room, but you know, I can bring it out whenever I need, but I just wanted to show you what we're going to be doing with this probe. You have two leads. You have one lead which hooks to your signal tracer, just like this one here hooks to your signal generator. Then you take this thing here and you ground it, just like that. I'll be putting that on there like there. This thing here will be feeding the signal in, and I'll be taking this one here for my signal tracer, and I'll be touching these probes. That's why I had to number these things, because so I know which one was the grid, which one was the plate, which one was what. Because this is kind of a jumbled up mess if you take a look at that. This is your mixer and everything. Your RF, I think it's an RF amp, oscillator, mixer, everything in one. So there's a lot of grids in that baby. And you got to kind of know what you're doing. Like I said, it's not going to explode or anything. You don't have to worry about that. But it's just always nice to know what you're doing. So let's go ahead and hook up the old... let me get this thing out of our way. I'll check that later. Right now I just want to get a signal injected and see what happens. Alright, I'm going to hook this up to our A1 where the antenna was, and this is to ground. I've got all my speaker wires hooked up, nothing's touching each other. Very cool. Again, exercise extreme caution. A lot of voltage coming out of that little thing there that goes to the speaker. Don't let it fool you. This is not a transistorized radio where you're dealing with 2-3 volts. No distractions again, okay? It's always a good idea to let your signal generator warm up for about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm just trying to figure out, because you're looking for accuracy. When you're aligning a radio, you want it to be right on. But right now we're just looking for signal injection, so it's not all that important. I'm just looking for noise. So let's go ahead and turn on our power supply. Turn on the Variac. And this here is a fine adjust for this thing. This is a coarse adjust. Down to, you got low, medium, and high for the sound. And this is it's here, and then of course you got a audio frequency out. Let's take a look at these knobs in case some of you don't know what that is. Now we're going to let the internal modulator take care of the audio frequency out. Okay, we're not going to modulate it from an external source. We're going to let the internal one take care of it. This is nothing more than a volume now. And of course this is your frequency selector, and I said we were going to be on 455 kilocycles, so we need to have our setting right there, because it's 450 is between 310 and 1100. Right? It goes up into the megacycle range, all the way up to 110 megacycles. Now this is really a cool setup that Heathkit had. I wish Heathkit was still in business. It just aggravates me. It used to be sold by Radio Shack. Get this crap out of the way here. Okay. And that's about it. There's really nothing to it. You just flip it between the different frequencies you want. And we're wanting it right here. Okay, we're good to go. I know I'm oversimplifying this for some of you guys, but there's people out there that have never seen a signal generator and they don't know what it does. It is just a little radio station that puts out frequencies, that's all. Alright, let's go ahead and turn it on. I've got the power on. We're shooting 120 volts into this puppy. Right there, see it? 120 volts. Now we're going to back it on up and turn it on, see what happens. You got to watch those amps again. This is the most important part of the whole thing. You don't want too much current going through this old radio. I haven't changed out any of the capacitors yet. I don't want to spend money putting out capacitors if a bunch of coils up in here turned out that I couldn't get to. I did every one I could. Thought I got them all. But if they're bad, and you put a bunch of money in capacitors, and then you find out your coil's way up deep in there that you can't even get to, you find out that one of them's not good. Who knows, So, here we go. Turn on the power and keep our eye on that current. Let me hit the switch here. Let me see. Yeah, the bulb's lit. Our little dial indicator bulb is lit, which is always nice to see. What am I hearing here? Are you serious? What's this? Are you kidding me? There's your frequency coming through from our signal generator. Well, that doesn't make sense. It's coming from the antenna connection all the way through the radio and coming out the speaker. All the way down to here. Doesn't make sense to me. Let me try the station change here a little bit. Well, that doesn't make sense. It wasn't working from the... Alright, I got to think about this for a minute. It wasn't working from the radio station coming in the antenna, but it is working from here coming in the antenna. Alright, let's hook the antenna back up. Alright, I got the antenna. I just unplugged the... I just disconnected the signal generator. I'll leave it turned on in case something's got to be rechecked or something. I'm kind of excited right now, guys. Noise.
So many hits, and they're bringing them all to Oakland.
Are you serious? What else we got here? Where's our Spanish station? The one that really blew. Well, I don't know what to tell you here. Alright, there's our overpowering Spanish station. Let's check our current here. I'm really sure. Goodness gracious, it's only pulling about 100 milliamps. We're using the top scale. Okay, now I know what I'm going to tell you. I had to show Brendan this, so I did a quick video and fired it off to him and showed him what had happened. Brendan is my electronics mentor up in Michigan. He's been my mentor for many years now, I'm happy to say. Okay, one of three things has actually happened here. Let me see, is it three things? Let me see, let me think now. One, two, no, one of two things has happened here. Right after the last video, I cleaned up all the contacts in here with contact cleaner and brush. I worked and worked and worked at it, cleaned everything, got it all shiny, best I could, but in between these wafers, but it still didn't work. I mean, nothing happened. So I said, well, it needed to be cleaned anyway, and also did the same thing over here on the tone control wafer. So I don't know. It could be that it came back to life because of that. I do not know. After it dried out or something, I don't know. It wasn't working when I shut the radio down after cleaning it. The second thing it could be is one of the capacitors has decided to wake up and in the circuit. Where that would be, I don't know. Don't care. I'm going to go ahead and replace them all anyway. So it could be one of those two things. Let me see if there's anything else. Not that I think. Oh yeah, I also ran some WD-40. I couldn't get to the volume control and spray it down in there. It was it's a sealed unit, so I ran some WD-40 down along the shaft here and worked it back and forth. You know, sprayed it a couple more times. It worked, back and forth. Maybe that squared away the volume control, and maybe that was my problem all along. I don't know. I'm a happy camper. Alright, let's try the tone control. Sounds good, huh? By the way, this is what our speaker looked like after it all dried. See there? Nice and solid all the way. Working perfect. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and let me shut this baby down. I don't want to run it too long because these capacitors are kind of finicky. Sometimes they'll wipe out a tube or something. I don't know. I think what I'm going to do here, we can shut off our signal generator too. I hope you learned a little something about signal generators, and I hope you learned a little something about this. That's called magic. Magic, magic, magic. There have been many times when I've worked on old radios and other things, then all of a sudden they just fix themselves. That's called magic. Electronics magic. Now, is it going to be long-term repair? I don't know. You know, I'm still going to go ahead and change the capacitors out, and when I get it all done, it may decide to crap out again. If it decides to crap out again, well, we'll just go back to what we were doing with the signal generator and try to figure out where the problem is. I'll tell you what, this electronics is really an amazing hobby. It really is. Oh, I've got to get out in my garage for the next couple days and start cleaning up some stuff out there. It's a total mess. I gotta get some stuff done. I gotta go down and buy some shelving units at Lowe's, get those put together, get some stuff out of the garage, moved into what was be the electronics shop. And it's going to be quite a bit of work. It's going to take me an entire week minimum. So you'll see me whenever I get all that done. But and hopefully I'll have all the caps replaced, or most of them, by the time I get back. So until next time, this is John.